Hello there and welcome to the Indian Insight channel. In this video, we are going to discuss our predictions for the silver market, for gold and Bitcoin. Disclaimer first, I am not registered with SEBI as a financial advisor. None of this should be construed as an investment advice. Before making any investment, please consult a registered investment advisor or do your own due diligence. Let's first talk about silver and gold, and then we'll go to Bitcoin, because in case of Bitcoin we can have multiple calculations of price predictions. So I'll look at all those. Now for those who have followed this channel, you would remember that at the start of the year I shared a video on where to invest in 2024, and one of the sectors that we said we expect to do well was metals. Metals sector was especially interesting because in that video itself I said that real estate sector is also likely to do well, and sectors related to real estate are likely to benefit, and they may be a good play as proxy for investing in real estate sector. And so metals are one of the key components that go into real estate development. And so two different markets were giving us indication that metals might go up, and now we are seeing a rise in other base metals as well, and gold and silver have also shot up. Let's first talk about silver. This is the chart of silver. I wanted to look at this trend line. This basically has been a consolidation that starts from August of 2020, and only now we have given a breakout about this trend line. We have tried to break out twice, once here and once here. Here there was a shorter pullback, and here we had a bigger pullback, but finally it seems that silver has broken out from this trend line. And the thing is, this trend line, if you see, is not very steep. For example, if this trend line was very steep like this, then what happens is that the breakouts are less reliable. But because this trend line is not very steep, I think there is a good chance that this breakout is going to be reliable. In the short term, we can probably see silver going up maybe even 20-25%, and in the long term, let's say over next 2 years or even 3 years, the price of silver may even double. So you may even see 100% return in this return on this metal, and maybe even more than that. I'm not going as far as saying it may triple, but it can go very high. Next, let's look at gold. So in case of gold, you would have seen a major cup and handle kind of a formation already shared on various social media by different people. And this is a chart of gold from the peak of August of 2011. From the peak of August of 2011, the peak price of around 1884, we didn't see a major rally till now. In fact, till you know even last month we were trading only around, say, 10% above the highs made in 2011. So for last 13 years we have largely consolidated in gold. This essentially means that now you can expect the prices to go much higher, and I think these levels here can be very important. I would say that 2650 is very likely on the gold. It is possible that it may happen in 2024 itself, and over a longer period of time it is possible that we may hit even 3000 on the gold. Now let's look at Bitcoin. For Bitcoin, there are many price targets that are shared. I am going to cover at least a couple of them to understand why these price targets are shared. Now, the current cycle started in 2020, and the peak of the cycle before that was around 19,220. After that, in 2021, we hit around 66,387. So a lot of people will compare this peak price to this peak price and suggest that over the next 2 to 3 years, the prices can give similar kind of returns. So if the peak here was 69,000 and the peak here is, if let's say if it's around 20,000, then you can assume that Bitcoin would go up by 3.5 times from 69,000 level. So that would come to a price of around 240,000. So that is around three and a half times from current levels. That's one way of looking at it. Some other people will tell you that, since the prices went from the low of around 3850 to 66,387, so prices can give you similar kind of returns from the low we made, which was around 15,632. Now the price target based on that would be even higher. That price target will be around 280k, so 280,000 basically. So those are some price targets that you will see floating around on various social media. So that is how those calculations are done. And that there is another calculation that is often done by people, whereby they compare the market cap of gold to market cap of Bitcoin. And because Bitcoin is more scarce than gold, so it is assumed that over the long term, Bitcoin market cap should overtake market cap of gold. So let's look at the market caps currently. So the gold market cap currently is around 15.75 trillion. I am expecting this to go even higher by around 20 to 25%, whereas market cap of Bitcoin is around 1.3 trillion. And based on what we discussed, since Bitcoin is rarer than gold, one expects that the market cap of Bitcoin will catch up with gold over the long term. Currently, the gold market cap is around 10 to 12 times that of Bitcoin. So, based on this, the price of Bitcoin should go up by a factor of 10 to 12 times to catch up with gold. But remember, even gold is bullish. So, gold is expected to go up by another 20 to 25%. Based on that, one can assume that Bitcoin should go up by 13 to 14 times at least over the long term. If that happens, then you have to multiply the price of Bitcoin by 14, and that would come very close to $1 million. And because Bitcoin is much rarer than gold, because Bitcoin has a fixed supply, while gold there is some amount of supply that comes in every year, although it's very minuscule compared to the amount of gold already circulating in the economy. In spite of that, because Bitcoin is much rarer, because it has a fixed supply, this target of $1 million should be a minimum target for Bitcoin, and it has the potential to go much higher. So these are some of the targets that are usually shared by very influential people. And so I've showed you all the different calculations that people are doing to arrive at a target for Bitcoin. My sense is that eventually Bitcoin market cap should overtake that of gold, but it won't happen in the short run. I don't expect this to happen, say, in the next 2 to 3 years. If it happens, it will be a little bit of surprise for me. However, with anything tech, it is very difficult to predict the future growth, and it is very difficult to predict when the adoption goes exponential. So if the adoption goes exponential in Bitcoin, then of course the time it takes for Bitcoin to overtake gold would be much less. But otherwise, I think it would be a much slower process for Bitcoin to overtake gold in market cap. But eventually, I think it is more likely to happen than not. With this, we come to the end of this video. I hope you liked it, and if you did, please remember to subscribe to the channel and share this video with your friends so they may benefit from what's shown here. Thank you for logging in.